It's another tournament in a tea break, a little bit of a soggy one. I'm Ros Satar from Britwatch Sports, and
My name is Rene Denfeld from My Tennis.
and we're sat on a very rainy Chatrier watching the raindrops pitter patter and to bring you our wrap of the day. So, without further ado, let's start with poor Stanimal, Stan Wawrinka.
Yeah, I've seen a few headlines regarding that match or regarding his first round loss, claiming it was a disaster. I was a little bit surprised by that some people would presume that he would just sail through a first round. Of course, Dan, defending finalist, but someone who came back possibly too early from his knee surgery this year, struggled to put back-to-back wins together, got some more match time in Geneva last week, obviously, but still
Very short.
still
Yeah.
far way from his very best, and fell to Guillermo Garcia Lopez in a quite a long 3-set match at the end. And I think the fact that 5-set match, excuse me, and the fact that it went 5, I think at the end also didn't necessarily help
Yeah.
Wawrinka, who barely has any match play at the moment. So falls outside the world's top 250, which is
That's quite, I mean,
which is a significant slump. But then again, it's 1,200 points off,
yeah.
and he doesn't have a lot of points in the bank beyond those of the French Open here. So tough one, but I think if he gets his further rehab and the further recovery right, I think he's going to make his way back up there, but it will take some time considering where his ranking is now.
I mean, I think realistically we ought to expect Stan to sort of come back for maybe the US series. I'm not sure that he's even going to be that ready for grass, to be honest with you.
He said he wants to attempt to play grass, so
Okay, we'll see. Another one that many people had on their list of potential upsets was Victoria Azarenka. Unfortunately, though, the upset was on her. She lost out to Siniakova in a little bit of a bad-tempered match, though, it has to be said. Siniakova's coach or father was pretty much up in everybody's grill.
Very vocal.
Yeah,
very vocal.
that's a polite way of putting it. But what actually really impressed me was Azarenka, put paid to the fact that it's loss. I mean, this was her first time playing here in some 2 years. But, she was actually very eloquent on the now seemingly perennial discussion about maternity leave and seedings. And she basically, she's answered this question I don't know how many times, but she did it very patiently. It was like, for the record, there's 2 elements here. Number one is how the rule affects any player coming back from maternity leave, and number 2 is the seeding. And I thought one of the best things that she said is, if I look at it from a personal point of view, as she ought to as a mother, it's very, very easy. But if I try and be objective and look at it for any woman coming back onto the tour, it's not so easy. I actually really enjoyed that press conference. I thought she was very eloquent. And I think it's very good that she's on the Players' Council.
And I actually think she's been eloquent on several matters, whether that is the sheer endless grunting debate, whether it is this debate now. She's been very eloquent and expressing the several points of view, whether that is concerning, in this case, whether it's concerning the tour itself, the seeded players who play all year, or the players coming back from a pregnancy or from giving birth. So there's a very there are various points to take into consideration. I think she's done a very good job of that, and she's articulated it very well. And I think she's given
good voice to the situation,
and she's expressed things the way that you would hope someone on the Players' Council would. And I think kudos to her. Well done. Obviously, it wasn't enough today in the match against Siniakova, and I felt it was a very tough first round, one way or another, for especially for Azarenka. But I think this was never, like the clay was never going to be the surface where she would, come racing back. But it's she'll get there again, and I think.
She has no doubt that she will.
She has no doubt. So. That's good.
That is good. Another really good win today that I was actually delighted to see was Andrea Petkovic beating Kristina Mladenovic in her own backyard, which was particularly pleasing, especially as I'd gone down to talk to the technical people, and they were all just sat there watching the television without at all of an interest in fixing any technical issues. So, it's good to see Petkovic playing like this?
I think Andrea played a solid match. That's what she said afterwards in press as well. She said, "I think I played solid. I don't think I played amazing, but I think I played solid." And it has to be said, Mladenovic a far shout from where she was in terms of how she plays and her confidence from last year. And yeah, a tough loss for the French women, particularly considering that she'll also have a drop out of the top 50 after the French Open, and it's funny how 12 months can change things. Where it's last year she was whooping up the crowd when she was playing with Ros Satar on Langlan, and this time it felt almost more like what was Alliance than last year. It felt like a very, I don't know, a sophomore album release party of a bad sophomore album, and like the atmosphere was very stifled and quiet.
Well, she certainly shut the crowd up, I think.
Yeah, it was a weird atmosphere during that match, and I think both players addressed it. They were like, it was a very emotional match. Obviously, sorry, we've got a bit of thunder in the background. That's the weather.
If yesterday wasn't bad enough with having the tannoy telling everybody to get the hell out of the grounds, now we've got thunder and lightning. It's very atmospheric.
Very lovely.
Okay, and obviously after the disappointment of Johanna Konta going out yesterday, we had Cameron Norrie, who had that fantastic run in Lyon, and he came out all guns blazing against, now you're going to have to educate me on this, Peter Gojovcik.
Exactly, that's the name, that's the pronunciation.
Wunderbar. Okay, so he came out really, really well, but it was very clear that there was something not quite right with the German. He also had a great run. He reached the final, I believe, of Geneva.
Exactly.
Yeah, so probably coming in a little fatigued, and he ended up pulling the ripcord 1 point shy of going down 2-love in the second set.
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah, it was fairly. I think it was actually fairly early in midway in the second set, and just quite clear. It's like from the start of the first set that something was midway through the first set. Something was up with Gojovcik. He said he felt his body a little bit being fatigued on the Saturday in the finals in Geneva, and then he had a good practice session here yesterday, and just. Like the match started, and a few games into the match, he felt like something or pain in his hip groin area. So pulled the ripcord early. Asked him about whether he was worried that the ITF might basically fine him quite heavily the way that they did with Misha Zverev at the beginning of the Australian Open, who got hefty fine for playing whilst not being in his best condition. Didn't know about he didn't even consider it, but mainly because he said, look, I was fine yesterday, I just noticed it in today's match. Very disappointing for me. Good win obviously for Cameron Norrie, but in the end it was 40 minutes on court, so also a little bit tough to kind of to say how well someone played.
In fairness to Cameron, he actually came out and said, I would have actually preferred to play a little bit more.
Yes.
But on the flip side of the coin, he could really do with shelving some of that energy, because he plays Luca Pui next, and he is going to be made to work very hard. But all in all, it was a great run for him, and I'm sure that Heather Watson probably wouldn't think me too uncharitable if we all thought, well, it's going to be tough against Océane Dodin in her own backyard again. And certainly it did not start particularly auspiciously well for Watson. She got broken in the first game. But she really settled down. She broke back. She got herself on the board, broke straight back, and after that, never looked backwards. I mean, her serving's good. We've just come back from her press conference, and I'm in the middle of transcribing it, and she was saying that she's actually been playing, she feels, quite well. It's just trying to get over the line, and her match against Bondarenko in Nuremberg, where it took her 7 match points to get over the line, it took her 5, and I asked her, was that beginning to play in the back of your mind? And similarly to Jo, she was saying, the only people that ever talk about losing streaks are you guys. You never talk about winning streaks, which isn't strictly true, because we were all giddy about Petra Kvitova's winning streak in Madrid, but she does have a point that she'd been on a long winning streak. But more, what was playing on her mind was not being able to convert those match points. And the rain was beginning to get heavier. It was beginning to get harder and harder to actually serve without getting raindrops in her eyes. She got over the line. she actually has an advantage because she either plays Vara Lepchenko or Elise Mertens, and they are stopped. I think you can correct me. I think it's 3-love to Mertens in the decider.
It was last time I checked. It was 3-love. I don't think it changed much.
No.
It was after 3 hours though, almost. So
Yeah.
they've been going at it for quite a while now. So we'll see the completion of the end of that match tomorrow.
But
There's another couple of matches. So she's got the advantage of having an additional day's worth.
Yeah, she actually said that she might actually use that time to come out and watch. But I mean, here we are talking about quite a few matches to finish. Obviously, you have a little bit of knowledge in this area, Rene. What do we think the weather's going to be like tomorrow?
I don't know. I mean, I got it a little bit wrong for the first 2 days. I thought it was going to be much worse than it actually turned out to be. As I said, I think the entire first week could end up being tricky. I think there's a chance for rain. Like yesterday, I thought we got very lucky. Today, we got lucky that it didn't start earlier. So we stayed in a very slim dry spot for quite a while. Now we're getting kind of rained under here on Chatrier, which is lovely. But yeah, I think we got lucky in the plays as well, that we got as much play done as we did over the first 2 days, and not a lot of casualties today either in terms of like favorites.
Djokovic went through fairly well.
Kvitov surviving a close shave.
Tricky,
I suppose.
as you would say.
Very close shave. Wozniacki after the first set cruised through. So most of the bigger names, team as well, Pliskova, they all got the job done essentially. So not a lot of casualties today, unlike yesterday where we had Ostapenko bowing out. So and then tomorrow we've got a big day ahead, of course. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the matches that didn't get finished today will be second on. We have Kyle Edmund playing, but also we have a probably quite grumpy Nadal. I mean, just a quick word on him. As soon as the rain started coming out, I love the irony, the delicious irony of him trying to chivvy up the court cleaners to
he
get
does
the
not
game.
like it. He sees that. I mean, people saw it during Rome. Like he saw the clouds during the Rome finals, and he started. He got rattled. It almost seems like he gets rattled as soon as he sees that the sun goes away, because then of course conditions change a little bit. Conditions here right now are not so good as thunderbolts, like as lightning flashes across the entire site.
This is crazy.
It's Paris.
It is. It is. Okay. Look, I think with that crack of thunder, we might be pushing our luck at trying to get
a little bit. But yeah, very chock-full day tomorrow on Chatrier with, of course, Cilic starting. Then we've got Nadal
finishing.
Serena playing, Simona Halep playing on Chatrier as well. Maria Sharapova playing on Suzanne Longland. So it's very stacked. It's stacked as a result of a few matches being shoved to tomorrow. So
yeah, I think if people have got the ticket for day 3, they're going to be in for a treat, because they're going to pick up some great matches. If the weather holds. Well, we'll be back to talk to you tomorrow. Until then, you have, of course, been listening to Ros Satar
and Rene Denfeld. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for listening.
Au revoir.